Hello, everybody. Today we'll be starting a new series on Flutter app development. What is Flutter? It is an open source user interface software development kit, or SDK, created and supported by Google. Why Flutter? Think about this. You can write your code once and it runs on every major platform. That's the power of Flutter. It is a Google UI toolkit that allows for a single code base across all devices. Flutter's core promise is that single code base that can deliver native performance to all devices. It compiles your code down to native instructions, ensuring the speed and look that users expect on any device, whether it's iOS, Android, or a web interface itself. To start this journey, we need three key pieces of software. The Flutter SDK. This is the core engine which includes the Dart language. Android Studio or any other IDE of your preference, or you can use a software like Visual Studio Code to follow along. But personally, throughout this series, we will be using Android Studio. It gives us powerful tools for mobile development. Lastly, you will require a device to run our app on. I personally will be using a physical device, but you can set up a virtual Android device within Android Studio itself. Now, to begin, we need to install the Flutter SDK. Let's do that now. Now that we've looked at Flutter, we will now proceed to install the SDK. You need to do a few things before installing the Flutter SDK. Follow this link in the description to the Flutter SDK manual installation documentation. You need to download some prerequisite softwares to be able to run Flutter on your system. The first software that you need is Git for Windows. You can follow this link that takes you this tab and you can click on Install for Windows and install this. This is a version control system that will help out with your project. The next thing that we need to set up is an editor or an IDE. As I mentioned before, we will be using Android Studio for the purposes of this series. So I want you to head over to Developer Android and get the Android Studio Auto 2 feature drop. After installing this and installing the Git, we can finally set up Flutter. To set up Flutter SDK, you will need to install a zip file. This is the Flutter Windows stable zip file. This will have the latest version. Download this and extract it to a location that you can access later. Now, once you've downloaded and extracted your SDK into a folder, you'll have a folder that looks something like this. This is your Flutter SDK. Make sure to keep this in a safe location and not delete it. Make sure that there's no white spaces in the name of your folder. So mine is in D drive under development folder, Flutter SDK. As you can see, there's no white spaces. By white spaces, I mean this is a white space. There's no gaps in between your Flutter path. So now, the next step that we need to take is to add this bin folder into the environment variable of the system. What that will do is make your Flutter accessible throughout your system. So for that, first of all, open environment variables. On this panel, you can click environment variables. You will see two sections. One is for user variables and one is for system variables. We will be editing the path of system variables. As you can see, I've already added my path to the system variable, but to add this, click on new. You will get a blank field text. You'll put the path of your bin folder into this. To get your path, click on your address bar and copy this. For copying this, you create new, you paste it, and you click on OK. After you hit OK, your Flutter SDK should be added to the path. To check if your Flutter is working, open the terminal. And in your terminal, you want to run Flutter Doctor. This might take a while to run on your first attempt. So Flutter has informed me that there's a new version available, so I will be running the Flutter upgrade. I'll run Flutter upgrade to upgrade my Flutter. But as you can see here, I have Flutter stable channel installed. I have a proper Windows version.
I have an Android toolchain that I need to develop applications for Android. I do not have a Chrome browser, but that is only to develop for the web. We will not be doing that, so we won't require this. And I don't have Visual Studio because I will not be developing Windows applications. You can download these two, but for the purposes of this series, we won't be requiring them. I have a connected device and we have proper network resources to run the Flutter SDK. I'll upgrade my Flutter, but this is all you will require to proceed with the series.
Now that we have all the software that we need and we've set up our Flutter SDK successfully, we've added it to the path, you can open up Android Studio. When you first open up your Android Studio, it will not look like this. You will not have this icon called New Flutter Project. You need to do some setting up to your Android Studio. Firstly, open Settings. In Settings, go to the Languages and Frameworks Android SDK. Make sure you have an API level 36 installed. You can go to SDK Tools and make sure you have all these tools installed, especially this Android SDK command line tools. You can choose your Android SDK location here. This will be your location that you chose while installing Android Studio. After all of this is done, click on OK. Now, to add your plugins, click on Plugins on the left icon and make sure that you've installed Flutter and Dart plugin. Go to Marketplace, search for Flutter, and install it. Once it's installed, Android Studio will ask you to restart your IDE. Do that, then you can see the new Flutter project icon here. We will go ahead and create a new project for now. Your Flutter SDK path should be the path that you installed your Flutter SDK, you extracted your Flutter SDK in. So I've extracted it over here in Development Flutter SDK. So I will select this folder. Click on Next. You can name your project. I will be naming it my project my first project. Make sure you're using underscores while naming your project. You can give it a description, first project. Remember, all of this is applicable to amends in the future. You can keep an organization URL, but this is just for exporting your package. You will need this while after your project has been completed. I will leave it at default for now. We will not change the Android language, but we're making this app only for Android and iOS, so I will unselect all the other systems. Click on Create. Android Studio will go ahead and create your Flutter project. You can close out of this README tab. Let's direct our attention to the left side. This is your project manager. This is where all of your files are sitting. The main folder that we need to look right now is the lib folder. The lib folder contains all your main Dart files. Remember, Dart is the programming language that Flutter is made up of. This is your main Dart file where the program first looks for the code to execute. I'm sure this looks all daunting at first, but do not worry, we will learn all about this in the future. For now, let's try running this Dart file. So you can do this a couple of ways. The way I'm going to do it is I have a physical device connected to my laptop. So I'm going to run this file in my physical device. The first thing that you need to do to be able to do this is enable developer mode on your device. Please look through the specifications on your specific device. And you need to enable USB debugging and install if you're on Android. So to check if I have successfully connected my device, what I can do is I can search for Flutter devices. This will list all the devices that Flutter has access to. This is my mobile device that I'll be using. It's an Android with version 14 that has a API level of 34. I'll be running this project on this device. Up here, you can select your device, you can select your file, and you hit this run button. This run button will now start a Gradle task that will install this application into your device for a demo run. You can view the progress on your device by clicking on Running Devices. You can add your device and you can see your connected device here. Obviously, you'll have your physical device with you, but throughout this series, I will be using this screen to show you how my device screen looks like. You will now get a prompt. You might get a prompt on your device that asks you to install the application via USB. Click on Install. Your application has successfully been installed and run on your local device. You can make changes to this start file, which will be reflective on your device here. For example, Flutter gives you a default application that is a counter. So if you press this button here, it will show you how many times you push this button. You can restart this application by stopping it and restarting it, or you can click on the Run tab and you can click this Flutter Hot Restart, or you can use the Flutter Hot Reload. We will be learning about the hot restart and hot reload in the future, but just for now, make sure that you remember these are the 3 ways that you can restart your application. We've made it to the end of the episode. In this episode, we installed Flutter and configured essential tools in Android Studio. We also successfully ran our first app in our local device. In the next video, we will be learning all about Dart Essentials. We will be linking different programming languages as reference to learn about variables, functions, lists, and classes. See you there.